We're just under a week away from the NBL Blitz happening here in Tasmania, and yet Chargers TV has come out to do two special episodes to cover it and review it as well. Hello everyone, welcome to Chargers TV. Ron Riggs, Justin Bryan alongside you here. As I just said, we're doing two special episodes on this. We're going to preview the Blitz, JB.
Absolutely.
And then we're going to, of course, review it at the end of it all. But we'll welcome JB into the broadcast. Welcome, JB.
Oh, it's good to be back. It's old territory. It's familiar territory. It's safe territory. We're back. We're home. We're hosed, Ronald, and it's good to be back on air. It should be fun.
Yeah, no, it's certainly nice to be back on air. We'll have some news on the Chargers coming up at the end of our show, but let's have a look at the Blitz coming up. Obviously, a huge event for Tasmania.
Massive.
Massive. Games starting on Thursday up in Ulverston, then Friday we head to Devonport. Saturday, Friday as well, Devonport, and you got Kingston as well.
Yep.
And then of course Launceston on the Saturday, and then we finish at the DEC on the Sunday. So, what do you make of it all? And are you excited?
Well, I'd make it of all is we're going to probably need a car service after it, doing all the travelling around, Ronald. Locking up the Ks, get some new tyres on the car as well. I mean, it's massive, and I mean, it goes to show just how big the game is and how big the state is and its passion for the sport. We've got basically every corner of the state covered. Outside of the West Coast, which you and I have been there,
yes.
Ronald, unless they want 300 people to a game, it's not going to happen. But I mean, the accessibility for everyone statewide to see top flight basketball, to see the best this country has to offer in action, competing one-on-one, even some of our NBL 1 cohorts getting a game as well. I mean, it's going to be huge. I mean, Hobart with a showcase on the Sunday is going to be massive. Encourage everyone to get to that. But I mean, for places like Ulverston and Devonport, Launceston as well, staples of, the NWBU, staples of the Siebel and the NBL 1 comp, the cornerstones and the foundations of basketball essentially in this state to really get exposed and really have a chance to see that NBL action. It's going to be great.
It certainly is. Let's have a look at our NBL 1 All-Star team that's going to be playing in the Blitz, an additional team to the 9 other teams that are competing next week coming up. So let's have a look at our three Tasmanians that are in that side. Rain Smith from the Northwest Thunder, Zach White, formerly of course from the Hobart Huskies, and of course ex-Tasmanian who plays with Frankston at the moment, Lockie Barker. So nice to see them three made it into the side, JB.
And a unique three as well. Rain Smith, an up-and-coming junior state player who's really going to go far with his ball. There's no doubt about it. He's going to be massive. I mean, he's still playing NBL. He played NBL 1 for the Thunder as well, Ronald.
Yes,
I do believe.
He did. Yes. He got some court time there throughout the season.
He's a guy who's stepping up to the plate. He's playing quality minutes at the NBL 1 level already. He's going to be aiming NBL, going to be aiming college in the United States. Who knows where he goes from there? Lockie Barker, as we mentioned, former Tasmanian, playing big minutes over on the mainland as well in the NBL 1. Frankston as well, I believe.
Yes.
So, I mean, he's been playing well. Ran into him actually a couple of times in Melbourne over the couple of social trips I'd made.
Of course.
Ronald. So, I mean, it's good to see him. He's fit. I mean, he's really trying to make some inroads to the NBL as well, making some good connections over there. Quality player, quality playing time. I mean, played big minutes with the Thunder in 2018 as well. So, a Tassie guy who, has home at heart, but needs to develop his game. And Zach White, the veteran of the three, I mean, he's made Tasmania his second home, essentially. So it's good to see him getting a gig. Good defender. I mean, everyone knows how highly I rate and how highly we at the Chargers have rated Zach White, a championship player for the Hobart Chargers in 2018. So it's good to see Zach get his due course, get the respect he deserves, get out there, really showcase his talents. Honestly, probably a little too old to be trying to crack an NBL squad at this point, but I mean, it's great experience for him, and it just shows the level Zach can play to as well. So all three really going to showcase their talents.
Oh, absolutely, JB, and we're looking forward to that as well. The coaching staff for the NBL 1 All-Star side. Mark Shivers, head coach, Sam Armstrong, assistant coach, a nice little Tasmanian flavour there as well too.
And who would have thought the North-South divide is brought together on essentially a dominant mainland team? And again, Sam and Mark, really obvious choices. I think Mark, probably the most obvious choice there. I mean, took a squad in the Hobart Huskies, on paper was meant to win maybe 4 or 5 games, and outside of a couple of losses and a couple of injuries, were a finals-bound team in the first season of the NBL 1. Sam Armstrong, a staple of Tasmanian basketball for the best part of 25, 30 years as a player, as a coach. as a developer as well. So it's good to see both of those guys gelling together, and they both bring unique dynamics to the game. Sam really likes to get the play going, really likes to, up the tempo a bit. Mark, more into the development side of it, so I think he'll be great for minute management as well. But I mean, a real Tassie taste amongst this as well, and that's something that should entice locals that, while we don't have our own unique local team in the NBL Blitz, we have a lot of local talent around the Blitz, and that should be really encouraging signs for us heading into the future with the NBL. As we know, we do have that NBL bid hopefully pushing through, but I mean, it's great to see a lot of local talent around the game, around the Blitz, and a real local Tassie flavour, which is, all we can ask for at this point, Ronald.
Yeah, for sure, JB. Now, we caught up with Mark Shivers a couple of days ago, and here's what he had to say.
Yes, I think it's very exciting opportunity for our NBL 1 players to be able to showcase their skills against the good NBL teams over the weekend. I guess the only disappointing part from my perspective is that we're not playing in Hobart. We're playing in Ulverstone. Nothing wrong with playing in Ulverstone and Launceston, but it would have been good for Hobart fans to be able to see their NBL players as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, let's talk about the three Tasmanians in that team now. Zach White from obviously the Hobart, used to be Hobart Huskies. A Hobart team now, we'll say. Rain Smith from the Northwest Thunder, and ex-Tasmanian Lockie Barker, who played with Frankston this year in the league as well too. But nice to have some three Tasmanians playing in the side.
Yeah, I think it's great that we've got that sort of representation, and I know those guys are all very excited to be able to. Once again, it's all about testing yourself. Us as coaches and them as players to test themselves against the country's best players. So very, very much looking forward to it and seeing how it pans out.
So the thoughts there from Mark Shivers, and JB, not only is he excited about coaching the NBL 1 All-Star team, but, slightly disappointed he doesn't get to coach on his home court at Kingborough.
Yeah, and that's understandable too. I mean, Mark having had experience in Sandringham in the NBL 1, so, I mean, again, he understands the way the league works.
Yeah,
you don't always get that home court advantage. But I think Mark is probably just as much as we are, how much travelling is he going to have to do? Again, you're bouncing across, the entirety of the state, a round trip up to places like Ulverstone and Burnie and places like that is almost 600 Ks. So, it's a lot on the body over, what is essentially over 4 days. But, I mean, he's up for the challenge, and that's something that Mark took on as, NBL 1 coach of the Hobart Huskies, is he was up for the challenge. He understood what came about it. Now, obviously, it's tough because you've got 12 players here. All 12 of them are capable starters in their own team. They're going to want their own minutes, and essentially, it's sort of just man management. Not necessarily coaching, but man management. There's egos to play in place. Players have their different roles. So I think it's just going to be one of those experiences for Mark where you're not necessarily coaching the team, but you're managing the team. So, I mean, this is going to be awesome for him. And as he said, disappointed he can't get down to coach on his home floor at Kingborough. I'm actually surprised that they weren't given the opportunity to come down and really allow that to happen. But nonetheless, that's how things fall. But, I mean, a lot of quality talent floating around. And I think that's the challenge Mark and Sam are really going to be up to, is coaching against the best talent this country has to offer. It's only going to be able to enhance their game as well.
Oh, absolutely, JB. And, of course, with the travel factor, I mean, we're both used to it, and everyone else is used to it. So
going to be heavily involved in it as well. So
that's it. And I think from that standpoint, sometimes you just got to roll with the punches, as they say, and just keep on keeping on.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's part of the game, and that's part of the factor. And for guys like a Rain Smith, and certainly for a Lockie Barker, a road trip like this, 3 or 4 days across an entire state, backwards and forwards, is something, as they, progress through their career, something they're going to have to get used to. I mean, one thing that I think a lot of young players don't realise and have the advantage of, having played in Hobart, and playing on the Northwest, is, okay, you've only got to go half hour down the road to play a game. That's great. But as your career progresses, I mean, you've only got to look at the top level leagues around the country, and around the world. In fact, I mean, you look at somewhere like the NBL, you could have two games in a weekend. Well, you got one game in Sydney. You could be flying to Adelaide the next day to try and play that as well. I mean, if you want to go to college in the States, it's not a matter of playing all your games, say at St Mary's. You might have to go to the East Coast and play outside your conference. So I think it's a character building thing, a strength building thing, and certainly an eye opener as well. That if you want to go to this next level, this is what you got to do. So that does come into account, but again, it's all part of the game. You just got to, as you said, roll with the punches and take it as it comes.
Absolutely, JB. All right, let's have a look at the 9 teams that are competing in the NBL Blitz. And we won't go through one by one. We'll condense this a little bit.
Sure.
which team are you more excited to see?
Oh, I think there's only really one team that everyone wants to see, and that's the Illawarra Hawks. I mean, they've got Alonzo Ball, they've got some good... The RJ
Hampton's in New Zealand.
He's in New Zealand, yeah. So,
yeah.
I mean, the Breakers are going to be a big factor too. Adelaide 36ers, I'm not sure whether Harry Froling will still be...
Yes, Harry Froling will be suiting up in the Blitz.
Will be around with them as well. You've got the Kings coming through with local favourite Craig Moller as well. So,
absolutely.
I mean, there's 4 teams, that have a lot of talent that young people are going to want to watch. I mean, the NBL 1 team obviously is one that I want to watch. A lot of local talent, familiar talent you call across. But, I mean, it's just spread right across the board. I mean, honestly, the media circus that's going to be Alonzo Ball is going to be huge. RJ Hampton's probably not going to... probably going to fly under the radar a little bit for a lot of people, but I mean, there's a guy who's predicted to be a top 20 in his own draft class in the NBA when that comes up as well. So going to be a lot of buzz around him. Harry Froling, Craig Moller, having gone through the cycle that was the Huskies here in Hobart, having been local for Craig for a couple of years, it's going to be good to see him too. So, I mean, there's a lot of talent floating around, a lot going on. The Perth Wildcats, I mean, they're the champions for a reason. Another team that's going to drag a lot of attention. So, I mean, 5 of the 9 teams there, I know I'm personally wanting to get a peek at as well. Ronald, I don't know about you, but I mean, a lot of action packed into what is essentially a 4-day schedule.
Oh, absolutely. And if we can get Lonzo Ball down from LA, of course, I mean, to watch his brother LaMelo.
LaMelo, oh my God, I have been too, haven't I? Sorry about that. Everyone knows who I meant.
Yes.
Cross my heart, hope to die. Shout out, everyone will rip me for that. But yeah, to watch LaMelo will be good. And I mean, who knows, does his dad try and come down and make a circus of it?
Does Lamar come down? We don't know. We've heard rumours left, right, centre that he may...
big baller brand.
he may do, he may not do. We'll see what happens, but of course, Illawarra, yes, for me, is exciting to see them come down. They have a really good team this season. Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, the new franchise in the league. I'll be interested to see how they go. Whether they got Mitch Creek, Ben Madgen, Kyle Adnam, those kind of guys.
Dane Pinot there as well.
Dane Pinot, who's we had to talk to him during
friend
the
of the program.
Yeah, friend of the program. And look at Melbourne United. They're going to be stacked. Chris Golding will come off the World Cup. You got Casey Praber. Mitch McCarron. I think hopefully will be right to go. I mean, he's been out on the last couple of pre-season games at the moment. The Sydney Kings, my team that I do follow in the NBL, JB.
I don't think anyone knew that today, Ronald.
I don't know. We'll soon find out. Craig Moller, of course, our good friend here of the program, and we know that Craig will certainly turn on. They've got Casper Ware, Kevin Lish, Brad Newley. That is a stacked lineup. Perth, the defending champions, you never write Perth off because they have just come out of nowhere last season to take out the championship.
Now, is former Husky Brian Michaels still on that squad or not?
If he is, he would be in the development player side of things. So
Cairns is another team too. I mean,
yes,
Tate Duffelmeyer having been up there, he's now under as a development player. But I mean, who knows whether he's a late inclusion to the NBL 1, whether he's going to be playing some minutes. I mean, it is pre-season. This is a good time to see a lot of the younger talent get about it as well. But, I mean, as you can see, across the board, there's really not a game you don't want to miss.
No, certainly not. And if we we'll throw up the fixture now. There are some ripper of some games coming up. The big piece for Sydney is missing Andrew Bogut due to the heavy load management.
Yes.
He will sit out of the Blitz, and I'll be interested to see how Sydney adapt without Bogues for that tournament. But their bigger goal will be the actual season when that all kicks off in October. And of course, the NBL Blitz trophy is named after Cal Bruton and Leroy Loggins, 2 Hall of Famers right there, 2 legends of the game. It is on a points-based system, so it's whoever can finish on top takes it out, JB.
Very good. And as we mentioned about Cal Bruton there, we are working our backsides off to hopefully get a chat with Cal. We'll see how that goes. Everything's looking pretty positive at the moment, whether it's going to be here or through other avenues. Stay tuned for that. But again, 2 legends of the sport in Australia, almost founding fathers across the league as far as the NBL is concerned, revolutionising, their respective positions. But I mean, it's going to be great. Again, you're going to see Cal down here as well, as always, going to be invited to the Blitz, which is understandable as well. But I mean, he's got a Tasmanian connection too. At one point, there with the Devils as well. So, I mean, plenty to go about. You know, a lot of Tasmanian connections about it. So, I mean, it's only fitting that they hold the Blitz here in 2019.
Oh, absolutely. It's a fantastic coup for the state, and not only the state government chipping in as well too. JB, that was absolutely fantastic. Larry Kesselman's still in negotiations with the Glenorchy City Council on purchasing the deck, and where that could be at with a potential NBL bid as well too. So a lot happening. We do have a wish list of people we'd like to interview. Larry Kesselman's one of them, JB. If not, Jeremy Lodlinger, who's the commissioner of the NBL.
Absolutely.
So we're aiming high and trying to find out the latest on those negotiations, because it's been a little bit quiet so far after all that kind of hype and speculation that was first reported.
Absolutely. And again, you know, what perfect time but to make a few announcements around the Blitz as well. I mean, so stay tuned. There's, you know, the potential with the Glenorchy City Council, with Larry Kesselman, with the Tasmanian team, you know, especially a lot of talk. Again, you know, guys like Andrew Gaze have already come out and said they want to see Tassie back in the league. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of players floating around with Tasmanian connections, you know, who love the state, who have travelled down, that would love to see an NBL team. So, I mean, the more the momentum builds, you know, the better the chances are as well. And as well here at the Chargers, I mean, there's, you know, a lot of speculation and stuff flying around as well. I mean, we've got more details coming up very shortly on that on the program. But, I mean, you know, just keep your ears peeled, keep your eyes open. I mean, there's going to be a lot of news and media floating around, plenty of content for everyone to catch up on. And no doubt about it, I think everyone's going to be well informed that the state of play in basketball in Tasmania is more than alive come NBL Blitz week.
Oh, absolutely, JB. Who's your tip to win the Blitz? And of course, it is based on point system, so it's more about wins instead of getting through to a final type format situation.
And that's a tough one there. I mean, not necessarily a round robin tournament either, so it's not like they're all going to be able to play each other all at once. It's tough. But I'd like to think that Perth is potentially going to come out. You know, a lot of people, you know, as you mentioned, underdogs throughout a lot of the season. First half of the season last year didn't look like they were going to be even a sniff to play finals, let alone win the ring. So, I mean, this is going to be a side that's going to come out. They're going to want to stake their claim early, really silence the haters. And I think Perth's going to really try and push themselves for potentially back-to-back championships, Ronald. And I think they're going to start with the Blitz.
Okay, you've heard there from JB.
Are you going against Almighty Kings? That's the next question.
No.
Of course not.
I'd hope Sydney can win it. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be an exciting few days coming up, JB.
In saying that, South East Melbourne Phoenix have a lot of talent too. As a new club, I think they'd probably want to say, look, we're not here, we're not here for giggles and jokes and laughs. We're here to be serious. So don't be shocked to see them come out with a bit of firepower as well.
Well, they did get their first pre-season win just a week or two back ago, and very historic for that franchise, and a good start for them. And they're still missing some key players. I mean, you've got Mitch Creek at the World Cup at the moment, who's playing some solid minutes with the Boomers, and we'll talk about the Boomers in just a second.
Very shortly.
But, you know, South East Melbourne Phoenix will be right up there. I mean, they've got some good talent. They'll be a team not to be, recognised, what's the word?
Not to be taken lightly.
There you go. Thank you very much. Not to be taken lightly. So, yeah, I can't wait. Some of these games are going to be absolutely awesome. And if you haven't got your tickets already, get to nbl.com.au/blitz, because I can tell you 3/4 full of most venues. Tickets are already sold, Jobo.
Yep, you've got to get in. You've got to get quick. If you rock up on the door and don't get let in, don't be disappointed, because that's your own fault at the end of the day. I mean, the All-Star Showcase on the Sunday.
Oh, yes.
I mean, if there's one event you've got to capture, I'd love all the games. If there's one event you've got to capture, sell that out. I mean, that'd be a big stakeholder and a big message to Larry Kesselman and the league as well. But, I mean, if you can't get to Hobart, if you're in Ulverston, sell out the games in Ulverston. If you're in Launceston, sell out the games in Launceston. If you're in Devonport, sell out. There's all these venues available to watch top flight basketball, to watch the best the country has to offer, and indeed some of what the best of the world has to offer. So again, make your presence felt, vote with your feet, vote with your money too. Obviously, you're not going to just walk in. But, I mean, buy a ticket, get there, enjoy the action, make the most of it, absorb it, take it in, because, I mean, this is a once-in-a-generation opportunity, really.
Absolutely. I don't think any time soon the Blitz may not come back around again. So if this is a one-off chance, get your tickets now. nbl.com.au/blitz. So on behalf of Justin Bryan, I'm Ron Riggs. This has been another edition of Chargers TV, and it's goodbye.